The male protagonist is Blade and was once a hero of this world. On the day of fighting against the Demon Lord, they ran out of their power and were exhausted, but with their strong will they still pierced through each other's chests with their swords. After defeating the Demon Lord, Blade comes to the school dedicated to training heroes. The only difference is that his hair changed from white to black and white. Unlike other students, Blade comes here just to achieve his goal of making 100 friends. This attitude angers Ernest, the president of the student council. Ernest has a very hot temper and she hates the frivolous student like Blade. Blade doesn't care about Ernest's scolding, and when hearing Ernest is the president of the student council, he asks her to take him to the principal. Though angry, she still takes him to the principal's office. But what she sees shocks her. The original principal disappears and is replaced by the king of this country. Ernest quickly kneels down very nervously, but Blade shows an indifferent face. The king then says he needs to talk to Blade alone, and Ernest is kicked out of the room. In addition to being angry, she also suspects Blade's identity. Blade is unfriendly to the king and he doesn't know why the king is here. The king tells him that the previous principal is a wuss and that he has taken over the place and drastically revised the school's curriculum. His goal in doing so is to restore Blade's hero power. Blade is helpless and he came to school just to make friends, but there is little he can do about the king's actions. Soon after, Blade arrives at the training ground for students of the advanced class, and Ernest is very angry when she sees him. She thinks that Blade is a freshman and is not qualified to come here, but Blade directly takes out the recommendation letter in which the teacher recommends him to the advanced class. Ernest thinks Blade used some tricks to come and is about to scold him. However, Blade completely ignores her and starts to chat with other students on the training ground, trying to make friends with them. Seeing this, Ernest is furious and she says that as long as Blade can pass the test, he can stay. Afterward, Ernest takes out a training dummy wearing powerful armor and she asks Blade to attack. As long as he can slightly slice through it, he is qualified. After all, every student here can easily do this. What happens next shocks everyone. Using only 1/1000th of his power, Blade instantly wipes out the training dummy, and the shockwave caused by the attack makes the surrounding students into an unholy mess, even tearing Ernest's clothes. Ernest finally recognizes Blade's strength. At lunchtime, no one eats with Ernest because she has a hot temper, but Blade sits next to her as if nothing happened. Ernest apologizes to Blade because she underestimated his strength, but Blade thinks it is fine because they are friends now, causing Ernest to blush immediately. It is her first time hearing someone calling her a friend. Although she denies it, she still feels very happy about having a friend when she goes back to her room. Just then, a sword near Ernest makes a movement and she quickly holds the sword, which is called Asmodeus and is a cursed demon sword. Ernest accidentally touched the demon sword when she was 6 years old. The demon sword has its own will, eager to slaughter, and it tries to take over Ernest's body, but it has been temporarily suppressed by Ernest until now. Ernest's bad temper is also caused by the demon sword. But recently, Ernest finds herself less and less able to control the demon sword. The next day, when she is training with other students, she becomes more and more violent and almost hurts the student. In the end, she faints due to excessive physical consumption. Blade rushes her into the infirmary and he can tell that Ernest seems to be cursed by something. Ernest is his friend and he decides to help her. Through his intelligence network, he discovers that Ernest has a demon sword. He asks Ernest out alone, and with his experience as a hero for so many years, he can tell that Ernest's demon sword has great power. If she wants to completely control the demon sword, she must sign a contract with it and obtain its approval. Ernest certainly knows this, but if she doesn't get the approval of the demon sword, she will turn into a bloodthirsty demon who plagues the world. Blade reassures her that if it does happen, he will help her out of trouble. Looking at Blade's determined look and thinking about his mighty strength, Ernest agrees to communicate with the demon sword to sign a contract. After undergoing a fire test, Ernest enters the consciousness space of the demon sword to confront him. In the real world, a demon flame attacks Blade, but Blade easily eliminates it. Soon after, Ernest with her strong willpower successfully conquers the demon sword and completes the contract with him. Blade hugs her and both of them smile. From that day on, the hot-tempered Ernest has become a cute and gentle, beautiful girl which excites the students in school. After all, as the president of the student council, Ernest has been supervising the students' training, and if she loses her temper, the students will be the ones who suffer. Although she is very powerful, she also has troubles. One of her classmates is a girl named Sophie. Sophie treats others coldly, while Ernest is also not good at socializing, so she asks Blade to help train Sophie, hoping he can help Sophie better integrate into the group. Blade has come to school to make friends, so he agrees to the request. In the process of coming into contact with Sophie, Blade discovers that Sophie is very talented and quickly masters the skill of swordsmanship from him during her first training with him. The only thing he regrets is that Sophie is very cold to him when she is off training. At the end of today's training, the king who replaces the previous principal as the new one meets with Blade. Learning that Blade has recently been in contact with Sophie, he reveals a secret. Sophie is not a normal human. There was once a cult that created many experimental objects through various cruel experiments in order to create humans with the power of heroes. Sophie is the 12th generation of experimental objects they created, so she lacks the most basic human emotions and only obeys orders. Later, after the king eliminated the cult, he rescued the surviving Sophie. Hearing this, Blade is very sad, thinking it is because of the powerful hero in this world that the cult created Sophie. He blames Sophie's misfortune on himself, a former hero. To make up to Sophie, he decides to let her experience the life of an ordinary person that she hasn't experienced. But he feels a bit troubled because he has become a hero since he was 3 years old and he doesn't know how ordinary people live a life. So he asks other people in the school how ordinary people should live. He inquires with a group of people and comes to a conclusion. Ordinary people will experience youth, which means falling in love, and falling in love means going out on a date. Since Blade was raised as a hero at the age of 3, he only knows how to fight and has no common sense. In order to make up for his mistake as a hero, he rushes directly into the women's bathroom and proposes to Sophie, who is bathing, to go out on a date together. Seeing this, other students are stunned. Sophie thinks it is another training and agrees. By the next day, Blade has already made a date plan and takes Sophie to a nearby town. They eat and play games together, even drinking the same drink. The close contact with a girl makes Blade's heart beat faster, and this is also his first official date with a girl. Ernest, who hides in the shadows to observe, is very jealous. Since the last time Blade helped her conquer the demon sword, in fact, Ernest has secretly liked Blade and that's why she follows him. After today's date, Blade and Sophie come to a park. It is Sophie's first time dating and everything that happened today is fresh and interesting to her. Though she still looks cold, she has developed a different feeling for him. She asks why Blade has taken her out to do these things and Blade laughs, saying because they are now friends. Sophie tries to recall the concept of friends in this world and she tells Blade that friends can't lie to each other, so she wants to confess one thing to him. She then reveals her experience to him. At that time, she was created as an experimental object for the heroes and was the only one who possessed the power of hero, which can change physical principles, such as changing the gravity of herself and even stopping time. But Sophie can't well control this power and she can only use the power of the hero for less than 10 seconds each time. Hearing Sophie's words, Blade blames himself even more. He confesses to her that he is the former hero, and because he inherited the power of the hero from an early age, he has been training to fight since he was 3 years old. However, no matter how powerful he is, there is only one hero after all, and he cannot save all mankind. Every time people die because he shows up, he falls into deep self-remorse, thinking that the power of the hero is a curse. He apologizes to Sophie, who would not have suffered pain if it were not for the presence of the hero. To his surprise, Sophie doesn't get angry but hugs him. Sophie has traveled alone since she was rescued from the cult by the king. She has seen many towns and humans saved by the hero and they are all very grateful to him. She comforts Blade, saying he should be proud to be a hero. Sophie is honored to be created because of the hero, because she also wants to make others happy like what the hero does. With Sophie's comfort, Blade cheers up and he no longer blames himself. Sophie holds his hand and shows a smile for the first time. From this day on, Sophie and Blade become very close, and even during meals, Sophie will personally help Blade wipe his mouth, which makes Ernest very jealous. At this moment, there is a loud noise in the school and Blade and his classmates rush over to take a look and find that a green dragon has appeared. Everyone is frightened and steps back except for Blade, who seems unconcerned, still holding his unfinished lunch. Blade jumps up and easily knocks down the dragon, then feeding the dragon with the lunch in his hand. The students on the side are stunned and they never expect that the powerful dragon is just a piece of cake for Blade. What happens next surprises them even more. This huge dragon turns into a human form, becoming a cute loli who directly throws herself into Blade's arms and calls him her father. Blade doesn't know what happened and can only take her back to his room. He then gives the loli a name, Ku. While he is bathing Ku, Ernest comes to his room and tells him about the information she has gathered. Ku is invited by the principal to the school to conduct special training for students, but she was defeated instantly by Blade. Dragons worship the strong and that's why she considers Blade her father after he defeated her. Just after saying the information, Ernest finds that Blade is actually bathing with Ku. She kicks him in the face and after calling him a pervert, she leaves in anger. After figuring out what happened, Blade takes Ku to dinner with everyone, and he wants Ku and his friends to get to know each other, only to find that Ku is only very close to him and despises everyone else. Through investigation, Blade finds that this is actually the nature of the dragon race, which only worships the strong and does not make friends with the weak at all. Blade thinks that Ku has long been accustomed to such a life, but one day he discovers Ku is secretly playing house with the dolls made of cloth. She remembers the names of everyone in the school and arranges scenes for everyone. Seeing this, Blade feels very ashamed. Although he is not Siyu's real father, he develops a good relationship with her during the days they spent together. In order to make Ku no longer alone, Blade decides to help her make more friends. As I mentioned earlier, the nature of the dragon race causes Ku to only recognize humans who are stronger than her, so Blade pleads with the students of the school to unite against Ku. In order to get the students to agree, Blade even kneels down, and Ernest and Sophie plead with the students together. With their sincere request, the students finally agree to this request. In the eyes of the dragon race, humans are actually like bees, so for the dragon race it is acceptable to be jointly attacked. Principal also doesn't object because he takes Ku here to train the students. With the efforts of many people, a duel between humans and the dragon is about to begin. The students of the academy attack her together, and after a long time of fighting they finally defeat her. Ku recognizes everyone's strength and she asks them if they can be friends with her. Faced with such a cute loli's request, they happily agree. From this day on, Ku has many friends. Because of her cute face, the students are very fond of her, especially some female students. They take the initiative to feed her as if she is their daughter. While eating, Blade looks at Ernest and he suddenly feels that she is a little different. Upon checking closer, he discovers that Ernest seems to have gained a lot of weight and says it loud. Now he has got a big problem. It's very rude to say that a girl is fat. Not surprisingly, Ernest runs away from the restaurant angrily. In fact, all the students present have long noticed this, but they dare not say it. Blade, worrying that he can't be friends with Ernest anymore, quickly finds her and apologizes to her. He thinks Ernest is crying sadly, but when he sees her, she is hiding in her room eating various desserts. In fact, Ernest also realizes that she has gained weight, and she has gained a good appetite since she signed the contract with the demon sword, but she doesn't have a good way to deal with it. In order to help Ernest lose weight, everyone develops many weight loss plans. They take her to exercise every day and even force her to diet. Ernest is tired every day, but weight loss doesn't occur. A student thinks this is because she eats too much high-calorie food but does not burn off enough calories. Hence, Ernest thinks of a trick. She asks Blade to go to the playground and then takes out her sword to turn into her demon form, which is said to be able to burn off a lot of calories every hour and is more efficient than running every day. Not long after, Ernest falls to the ground. It turns out that she has just burned off too many calories and she is hungry again. At this moment, Ernest has entered a state of madness, shouting that she is hungry and rushing towards a nearby female student as if she wants to eat her. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Blade casts powerful wind magic to turn Ernest back to her original form. After the crisis is resolved, Ernest has regained her original weight. Since that day, Ernest has not dieted and she decides to transform every time she gets fat, which is much easier than dieting and exercising every day. Faced with Ernest's indulgence, Blade can only accept it helplessly. On this day, Blade comes to the infirmary to check on his body, which seems to have developed problems after his reborn. The beautiful doctor tells him that now he can barely use 30% of his original strength, and if not, he is likely to die directly. It seems that the female doctor also knows the secret that Blade was once a hero. Blade is already the strongest if he uses a little power casually in the school, and it is impossible that he uses more than 30% of his power. But what happens next surprises him. A female student named Maria finds Blade and she asks him to kill her if necessary. With her explanation, Blade finally knows everything. Maria lost her parents at a very young age and would now be a homeless orphan if she had not been taken in by the school. She can feel that there has been another personality hidden in her body, and the power of this personality is very strong. Since she was a child, she has worn various props that seal power. Recently, she feels that she is almost unable to suppress this personality. Worrying that this personality will harm others if it takes possession of her body, she asks the powerful Blade to kill her if necessary. With just a glance, Blade can tell that Maria is not a human but a powerful demon. However, instead of looking down on Maria for this, he decides to help her solve her troubles, and the students present also express sympathy after hearing about Maria's life and decide to help her together. Blade comes up with a way. He asks Maria to release her personality inside her. If they can suppress the power of this personality, she does not have to worry about it in the future. At Blade's suggestion, Maria removes the props that seal power. Just when she takes off her necklace, her form changes dramatically. She grows long ears and demon wings on her back. The hidden personality completely occupies her body. Sensing the demon lord's scent on Maria's body, Blade is very surprised as Maria is just an ordinary demon, but her strength is amazingly powerful. The students present all launch their strongest skill, but none of them can hurt her. When it's Blade's turn, he also fails to hurt the demon girl and his weapon is broken. At the critical moment, Arnest gives the demon sword in her hand to Blade, allowing him to barely defeat the demon girl. However, Blade also faints from exhaustion. When Blade wakes up again, the female doctor hugs him nervously. She reprimands Blade for using his power indiscriminately, which causes further physical injuries. From this day on, Blade cannot use more than 15% of his power. What Blade cares about the most is Maria's condition. Luckily, she puts on her necklace again and the power has been sealed. But the demon's personality is still possessing Maria's body, and she seems to be interested in this world and does not show aggression for the time being. Curious about Maria's identity, Blade approaches the principal who actually recruited Maria. Maria's mother is a human and her father is the former demon lord. That is to say, Maria is the daughter of the demon lord. No wonder Blade was able to feel the demon lord's scent on Maria's body. Although the demon's power has been sealed, Blade still thinks it is a bit dangerous. Just when he doesn't know how to deal with it, the demon comes to Blade. It turns out that in the previous battle, the demon discovers Blade's identity as a hero from his combat skills. The demon then talks about her own life. In fact, Maria has never known who her father is, and she has lived with her mother since she was a child. As a demon, she is discriminated against by humans and lives a miserable life. When her mother died 5 years ago, Maria was completely devastated, feeling that her father did not love her and her mother at all, which leads to the current tragedy. It was also on that day that the demon personality was born. So strictly speaking, the demon personality is only 5 years old this year. Actually, this personality is created by Maria to escape the pain of reality, and now Maria's true personality is hidden in her body and does not want to appear. The reason why the demon tells so much to Blade is that she is actually a bit fond of him. The female demons naturally worship the strong, and after being defeated by Blade, she is attracted to him. After knowing the truth, Blade feels much more at ease. A few days later, a student accidentally finds that the demon's necklace is able to store information. Perhaps something that the gift giver wants to say is hidden inside it. With the help of this student, the seal of the necklace is removed, and the next moment they see a video of the demon lord. It turns out that this is what the demon lord was going to say to Maria before leaving. He told Maria that he had an enemy to deal with and that this battle would be very dangerous, so he had to leave her and her mother. In any case, he wants Maria to remember that he will always love them. The Maria personality hidden in her body also hears these words, and her resentment towards her father disappears completely at this moment. Soon Maria reconciles with the demon personality and reappears in front of everyone. From this day on, they find that Maria and the demon coexist in the body. Maria is gentle and the demon is somewhat hot-tempered. When fighting, the demon personality will occupy the body. Since then, Blade has had a new friend. On this day, Blade and his friends walk on the streets, and Blade meets one of his acquaintances, a female centaur knight, Dione. Dione once fought with the hero, and she almost shouts out Blade's identity as a hero. Blade quickly covers her mouth, telling her that his hero identity is now a secret. Dione is now on a mission to deliver a huge cargo to the Hero Academy, and with everyone's help they arrive at the academy successfully. In fact, Dione was specially invited by the principal, and in addition to helping to deliver the goods, she will also be the new teacher of the academy from now on. Before teaching students, she decides to show her power in front of everyone. Right now there are many god irons on the playground which are said to be too hard to be broken. But to everyone's surprise, Dione, holding her spear, rushes towards these god irons. The next moment the god irons are pierced through and are then completely melted by the heat. Dione's strength is thus recognized by all the students. Soon Dione gets acquainted with the students and becomes a respected teacher. Soon after, Blade and Arnis discover a strange thing. One of the legendary continental sacred birds, Simurgh, appears over their town. Normally this sacred bird is particularly friendly to humans and will not attack humans. This time a Simurgh unexpectedly attacks the human carriage and is very angry. Blade remembers the goods that Dione delivered not long ago, so he immediately approaches the principal to inquire about the situation. Under the headmaster's explanation, they learn the truth of the matter. The goods that Dione delivered before are actually Simurgh's eggs. These eggs can only be hatched under specific conditions. It must be put at several hundred meters high and bathe in the light of the setting sun to hatch. However, the principal notices the position that the Simurghs picked for a nest is too low to meet the conditions for hatching. Hence he decided to steal the egg with the intention to train the students for their combat power and to help hatch the eggs. The strongest among them, Blade is in charge of the operation and their purpose is to stop Simurgs from intervening and transport the egg to the highest tower of the academy before the sun goes down. The most difficult part of this operation is that there is not just one Simurg but a pair. They must fight against two sacred birds at the same time. Fortunately, they don't have to defeat them and just need to try their best to stall them. The two sacred birds have terrifying strength and the students' attack can't hurt them. The students then try to trap the birds with chains which are stuck to the houses, but these houses are directly pulled up by the sacred bird. The sacred birds are so powerful that they can't be trapped at all. To make matters worse, the hanging basket used to deliver the egg is stuck in the air. Seeing that the sun is about to set, Blade rushes to the egg, but unfortunately he cannot release his strongest power and he cannot even lift the heavy egg. Luckily, Dion shows up in time and she pushes Blade towards the top of the tower. Finally, they finish the mission before the sun goes down. However, the Simurg spots the egg and rushes towards it. At this time, the principal appears in front of the egg. It turns out that he was saved by a Simurg a long time ago, and this time he would desperately help hatch the egg because he wants to repay the Simurg for saving his life. But he underestimates the strength of the Simurg and is knocked away. At this moment, Sophie unleashes the power of the artificial hero to pause time, and Simurg is kept still in the air. However, this only lasts a few seconds and Blade seizes the time to launch his skills to temporarily stop the Simurgs from attacking. After that, he and Sophie fall to the ground. At the final moment, the afterglow of the setting sun falls on the egg, which slowly breaks and a pair of twin young birds hatches out. Interestingly, the first thing the two young birds see are Blade and Sophie, so they treat them as their relatives. After this incident, the Simurgs also realize that this group of humans was helping them. Everything returns to its peace and Blade has made two bird friends. And that's the end of the video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I will bring more excitement anime in the future. Thanks for watching, bye.